It's finally happening as we have some huge Leafs updates to go over today, specifically surrounding one key player that not only has fans fairly fired up, but has big implications going forward in what has been a disastrous week for this team. We're going to break that down as well as a few other updates, including one surrounding Easton Cowan. You're going to want to stay tuned for a ton on this episode ahead of tonight's game. But before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button, folks. Your guys' support's been unbelievable. Darius, the Leafs are in, it's a bad time of the year right now for the Leafs, but there are some silver linings. And of course, they play tonight. Let's just hope they can get back in the win column and get back to their winning ways. But we have some pretty big updates to go over today. We're going to start with some of the the less interesting things. Then we'll dive into the big storyline today, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be excited for. But let's start with this there. Scott Laughton is taking part in practice yesterday and, of course, was in a non-contact red jersey. Now, you look at some other injuries that are happening, some maintenance that are taking place yesterday. Matthew Knies, Brandon Carlo. Ahead of tonight's game, there is going to be a lot of players who are needing to step up in the absence of guys like Gosse and Matthews in general. But Scott Laughton, at least, is back on the ice, taking part in practice. His return could be nearing here soon. And then, of course, on the Knies and Carlo front, they were just off with maintenance days. But you have to really hope that these guys step up ahead of the game tonight. And one of the updates involving tonight's game that we'll dive into in a minute regarding the goaltending, he is going to have to take the biggest leap of them all.
Yeah, this is a big game for the Toronto Maple Leafs because the Chicago Blackhawks are not the Chicago Blackhawks of the last couple of years. They're in a playoff spot right now. They're playing some really, really good offensive hockey, especially. And Connor Bedard's one of the hottest players in hockey right now, that has major implications on a player we'll get to in a second. But in terms of yesterday, Scott Laughton, one of the most unlucky players in the league right now, continuing to get hurt, but at least he's back on the ice, non-contact, so he's still going to be out a little bit, I think, at this point. But at least he's on the ice skating, taking part with the group, stuff like that. So that seems like he could be nearing a return probably next week, end of next week, something like that. We'll see. It depends on the severity of the injury, of course, which the Leafs never go into specifics on. But unlike other teams around the league, like the New Jersey Devils, some insane news yesterday, getting hurt at dinner. But when you look at the maintenance for Matthew Knies and Brandon Carlo as well, both those guys are going to be playing tonight. They just missed practice. There's the bumps and the bruises of the regular season. Could just be something like that they were missing time for. So they're expected to play tonight. But as you can see there, Nick, if you can pop that back up, we have brand new lines. Like before the team went to Chicago, everybody was going home, get some rest so they can fly out. Berube and the coaching staff went to Costco so they could buy another blender so they could put the lines in the blender again because Nicolas Roy on the second line now, centering a second line of Cowan and Sammy Blais. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't know. That to me seems on paper like it could be a fourth line. But anyway, they're the second line tonight. Presumably, of course, things can change before the game, but this is what they were rocking yesterday. Then you have Michelli, Domi, and McMahon, and then Joshua, Lorentz, and Yarncroc, which I don't think Joshua's been playing that bad, but that is your fourth line. So I think he's going to be playing with a lot of different things in terms of usage in this game, which I think will be interesting to keep an eye on because of how these lines are kind of spread out right now. But lots of changes throughout the lineup heading into this one.
Yeah, a lot of moves. These lines are pretty bad, at least in my mind. I mean, the best line there is obviously the first line. I think Michelli line could really be the second line, and the Blais line could be the fourth line, and the Joshua line could be the third line. But we'll see what actually happens tonight here. And Laughton, he's going to be out. And of course, Knies is going to be in factoring as well. And you can see Carlo, he'll probably get in for Dakota Mermis there. But we'll dive back into lines in a minute and kind of discuss Sammy Blais on the second line. But let's touch on the big thing at the bottom there. Joseph Woll. Now, I heard it in the intro. He is going to be returning. Now, is it today? It is yet to be confirmed. All signs are pointing to him playing today. But regardless of if it's today or the next game, he's going to be returning in the coming days. And Craig Berube said he hadn't decided yet if Joseph Woll will start today, but he seems ready to go. I would assume they're going to start him if possible. Give Hill to be a bit of a rest. He's been playing a lot at the at the NHL level. And he projects to be the goalie tonight in Chicago for the first time since Game 7 in May. Last year, just to give some context, 42 games, winning 27 of them, a great save percentage, a great goals against average, and tonight will be his first game in a while, assuming he gets in. But again, if he doesn't get in, the same sentiment applies for whenever he will play, which will be the next game. Joseph Woll is finally back. Stolarz, we'll see what happens with him. He should be back at some point soon as well. Obviously, like you mentioned, they're in the blender here. But this is going to be big for the team. We'll dive into some comments from Craig Berube a little bit later in the video. But it's an exciting, in a day and week that has been pretty rough. This is at least one exciting thing that we can hopefully look forward to tonight if he's feeling up to it. If not, in one of the coming games here in the future.
Yeah. Now, this one's interesting to me because he is the projected starter. Everyone's saying that he's ready to go. He's back with the team and that he could start tonight. And if you look at all this, like the score app and all that stuff, he's expected to start. That's what it says, but he's not confirmed. So obviously, Berube can change his mind before the game starts. Now, this is where I think it gets interesting. Hildeby's actually been playing really, really well. The winningest goaltender for the Leafs this year is actually Caden Primo, funny enough, in terms of a winning record, which is absolutely absurd at this point. But do you want to put Joseph Woll into a game against a team that is kind of feeling it right now? Bedard's one of the hottest players in the league. Do you want to do that, or do you want the hot Hildeby to continue, take this game, and then you can play Joseph Woll against his hometown team, the St. Louis Blues, on Tuesday at home against a Blues team that cannot hold a lead for their life and has been struggling so far this year. So I think that's where things get interesting. Or if Berube's looking at everything, the stats, the video from, the last week with him with the Marlies, maybe he's thinking, no, you know what, we need Joseph Woll to go in this game. But to me, I don't think Hildeby's played that much. He has been called up, obviously. And he's been playing well. So maybe you go back to Hildeby, at least in my eyes, and then you play Joseph Woll later. And keep in mind, all those stats from Joseph Woll, I mean, league average right now is about 900 save percentage, right? Like 901, something like that. And then obviously, if you're a really, really good goaltender, you're like 915 or something like that, still in the league, 913. So to have a 909, like that's pretty good stuff, right? He's in pretty good company there. So let's see if he can continue that. Stolars has not been great as of late, but I don't know. I think I would go. I don't know how you feel about it, Nick, and we want to hear your comments, but I think I would go Hildeby tonight. I honestly believe that, and I think it would give them the best chance to win. And then you would go Wool on Tuesday at home.
Yeah, we'll see. But also, if Stolars is healthy, then what do you do for Tuesday? You're stuck with
Right.
23 goalies, so it could be interesting quickly. Yeah, let us know down below. I suspect Wall will start tonight, but yeah, it's a good point with Dennis Hildeby. And then, of course, with Easton Cowan, he was taking reps with the Leafs' top power play unit. And heading into tonight, there's obviously a lot of external things happening. Friedman reporting. We covered it in yesterday's video. Feel free to check that one out after this one in its entirety. But like Craig Berube spoke out recently, he said the Leafs need to rebuild some confidence through hard work. And he said, we're in adversity right now, like we just mentioned. But what are we going to do? We're going to go through that adversity, go through that wall, find a way to get through it, climb over the wall, whatever it is. And you could argue, I don't think Craig Berube is in the hot seat. I think from a fan's point of view, they're pretty upset with him. I'm sure he hears all of these things. There's been talks about Pete DeBoer. There's been all these different talks going on, but they just have to win hockey games, and that will solve a lot of these issues. Now, is this team a playoff team? Like, we both think so, but they haven't been playing like it. But you're a week away if you have a really good week from being really good. The problem is this team now is not deploying, Austin Matthews, William Nylander together. Obviously, Nylander's still in the lineup. You're deploying Sammy Blais and Nicola Waugh on the second line, and they haven't gotten much this year from Waugh or Dakota Joshua. Joshua's been a little bit better as of late. The team doesn't look great on paper. Like, there's a reason that the Blackhawks have been probably favorites for this game because of the goaltending situation, because of the way things are going. And also, Bedard's having a great year. It's going to be a tough one, and it's a big adversity-facing matchup here.
Definitely. And I think when you look at the lines, if you can go back to that for a second too, I think that, Blais is in there right now, at least in practice, but Nyes wasn't there. So maybe Nyes takes that spot, or maybe Nyes is back on the first line and you have Robertson down there, something like that. I think it's Nyes, Waugh, Cowan is probably what he's envisioning at this point, which is pretty interesting because Blais was brought in. He's only played a handful of games as well, claimed off waivers, and he was a Berube guy. So that's interesting to me too. But the goaltending thing is interesting. Cowan's getting another shot, which is very exciting because his underlying numbers have actually been really good this year, even though he's not putting the puck in the back of the net or putting up as many points as the top guys. Of course, he's a rookie in the league, right? But his underlying numbers have been really good. So I'm excited to see what they can do tonight. Honestly, see if they can pull themselves out of this. Like you said, you're a couple, depending on the rest of the teams in the division too, a couple good games away from being in first place, right? Like you are. So take pride in your game. Take care of the puck in the defensive zone. Not even the puck in the defensive zone. Take care of yourself in the defensive zone. Communicate, stuff like that. We'll see what they do tonight. But I think a lot of it boils down to the mental aspect of the game. They just don't have it right now. I don't think it's just, listen, guys, the same coach and same system as last year. So they got to get going here.
Yeah, let us know what your thoughts are on this. And hopefully they can take care of business against a very good Chicago Blackhawks team, which you haven't been able to say in years. See you guys later.